There's no better place to watch football with friends than Buffalo Wild Wings. They've got all the games on wall-to-wall TVs and a new $5 game day menu with 30-ounce pitchers of Bud Light, Coors Light, and Miller Lite, cheeseburgers and brats, and select cocktails. And every Sunday, you can play an exclusive fantasy football game with DraftKings with prizes like free wings for a year. Get to Buffalo Wild Wings for their $5 game day deals. When football is on, you have to be there. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Price and participation vary, subject to restrictions, limited time only.
Do your friends tell you should start your own podcast? Or are you the friend that has a great idea for a show but don't know how to get it started? Now's the time to take it to the next level with Self-Made, the podcast edition. Podcast One and Launchpad One are giving you the opportunity to become the next great podcaster. Compete for a year-long contract worth $100,000 with Podcast One, the biggest podcast network in the business. If you have an existing podcast or you're looking to start your own, Self-Made is for you. Open submissions are happening now through September 3rd. Go to launchpad1.com/self-made to learn more. See official rules and sign up for your chance to win. That's launchpad.com/self-made.
You've been listening to the Fast Lane Podcast, powered by I Promise.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Alex Ferrario filling in for another 4 hours. Meat and BT here with you. Anthony Stalter is out today. Anthony had some fatherly duties. He was performing today and tomorrow, and unfortunately, a passing in his family as his grandmother passes away. We send our condolences to Stalter, to Anthony, to his entire family. He's going to miss a couple of days early next week, and he'll be back with him. But we're thinking about our boy Anthony Stalter and his family today as we get things kicked off here. Alex, you tired yet?
No,
You
this
ready
is
to
the
rock?
Fast Lane. I've pounded a couple of coffees. No
Okay.
coffees, Jamie. Energy drink.
All right.
We're ready to go. And I just did 3 hours with BK, so it's an energy boost.
Good. You got this all figured out. And, Jamie, I would think that Alex, since he's already done 3 hours of this bad boy, I mean, he's got a good feel for the fan base. I would assume, and I'm just jumping into the text line, I don't know what's going on. I've been unplugged from social media most of the day. I would assume that the temperature's still fine. You play a couple of tight ball games. You did find yourself on the losing end of it. Do I have a good feeling of it?
Whoa.
Janet?
What? Janet actually might speak for a lot of the text line right now.
What?
I don't think so.
Why?
Are you
Although-
feeling it as much?
Technically, they are still in the wild card race, guys, and it's still attainable. Although you're coming to the wrong person because I have been the negative person today, so I'm technically filling Anthony Stalter's shoes, carrying that over.
That was on that show, though.
So you want me to be positive
If
here?
you want to be positive, Pete, you can. Look, I'm not going to force you into a role.
Yeah, but wait, you're the guy from Vegas, right, BT?
That's correct.
And so you got the Vegas shows that are what, 2 a night, sometimes 3 a night, right?
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
biggest
Now you're
thing is
running 'em.
make sure the last show is as good as the first show,
Yeah.
right? But can he switch characters, or do you have to be the same character but do better every
I
single
feel like you got to
show?
stay to your role.
I don't know. Or
I
can
don't
you
know
flippy?
either.
Can you flippy flop?
I really don't know.
Well, so much for our Vegas insider.
Well, look, I don't know that. I mean, I would think that whoever, like the strong man doesn't do the trapeze at a Cirque show. Like, if that's what we're trying to do. Like the guy
I've
that's
seen
like
that
holds
show.
the one guy. They're ridiculous, some of those shows. They're amazing.
Yeah, I've seen that show.
If Tom Jones on
Interesting.
Thursday night can sing What's
Lot
New
of black
Pussycat,
lights.
then you can sing it on Sunday, too.
That makes sense.
So I'm gonna
That
stick
makes
with
sense.
it.
All right, so here's the deal. Look, the Cardinals do end up losing a game where, darn it, didn't you think they were going to win that one? That one felt pretty good. They drop it 6-4 in 10 innings, and you scored off Freddie Peralta early. Like, you had a couple of runs. You score early on. You get a couple in the first. You add another one in the second when Tommy Edman and Goldie get a pair of doubles. You got a 3-0 lead, and Freddie Peralta gets chased from the game. He's got a shoulder issue. You got the bullpen for the Brewers, who have been good, but you worry about two guys specifically at the back end. There's a whole long way to go in a lot of baseball before you get to those guys. And lo and behold, you didn't score against any of them until the 10th inning when you started with a runner on second, and it was one run when you needed 3.
That's ridiculous.
See, it's less than ideal at this point. That was one that I thought the Cardinals were going to nail down, Jamie, and they did not nail it down.
Yeah, I was sitting there last night, and I happened to look at the 9th inning. I'm like, I'm going to sit down here, and I'm going to enjoy this moment as the Cardinals have a chance to gain some ground on the Padres. They're looking good. They're going to close this thing out. And then, bam! Like, son of a... Now we're tied. Now we're behind. And now I'm crying into my beer. And I know I wasn't the only one last night that was doing that. And it just stinks. I hate the way it went down to end the game. I understand that these have been two close games for the Cardinals and the Brewers, and the Brewers kind of opened it up in extra innings last night. There was a weird...
Cardinals helped.
That was a weird extra inning, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's it, Jackie Bradley Jr.?
Jackie Bradley Jr.
He kind of
starts on
stutter
second.
steps, goes back. What the hell is he doing there, first of all?
He did you a favor,
He
is
did
what
it
he
twice.
did.
Then he's on third and didn't move, and then he, like, what are we doing here?
Urias had the tapper back to Reyes in the 10th inning. Jackie Bradley Jr. should have been standing on third base as Reyes airmails the ball back to him for an error he gets on, but he wasn't. But look, it all went downhill quickly. Like, where's the most frustrating part of it for you guys? Because there's a lot of focus on the back end of this game. Yes, go ahead.
Be honest.
How many games have they blown?
A couple now, Janet.
They muffed quite a few balls.
They have. They sure have. So if I'm going to be completely honest here.
Honesty's the best policy. That's
When
what I
did
always
you
say.
break your TV, Jamie? When did you break your television?
No TV
Okay.
broken last night.
That's good.
I was very perplexed, and it's been that way a few times here now with some of Mike Schilt's decisions.
You can second guess it all you want.
I know, Schilty, and I will a little bit here. I'm sitting here wondering to myself, should you have pitched to Christian Yelich?
It's the right move. It didn't work out.
Well, I don't know if it was the right move. I mean, there was a batter behind that. And then,
It's not your job.
Well, I understand it's not my job, Schilty, and I'm not trying to do your job. However, I look at that as an opportunity to where you can load the bases up. You got another guy behind Yelich that probably have a better opportunity, and then you force their hand too, right, with Hader?
Yeah. I mean, you at least, you never know how long a ball game's going to go, right? So they might look and say, if you got Yelich out, and they say, all right, we'll run Hader back out there, and then we'll have Williams for the 11th. I'd like to force your hand and make sure Hader's out of there.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was thinking with this too. And Christian Yelich makes an all-star play to recognize that Edmundo Sosa, which, by the way, we're going to get into that too, why Edmundo Sosa was on third base playing at that point, is kind of an unfortunate event that happened with Nolan Arenado. But that being said, he's the third baseman. He's playing back a little far. Christian Yelich identifies it, lays the bunt down. He should have been on first base. It should have been a force out at every bag on the field. That's where I'm at with it.
So that's the one that bothered
That's
you.
what got me. Yeah. I think that you have an opportunity at that point to what we just talked about. Jackie Bradley Jr., he stutter steps at second, doesn't get to third. At third, he kind of makes a mess of things. It could have been, you were 1 out away from this thing, and you let Yelich lay a bunt down where you could have just put him on first base.
That's how the baseball works.
It does. No, it does work that way, and the game is a little bit frustrating. It's fickle. Look, I do understand a little bit of the thought process of, Alex, we've seen a lot, almost historically, amount of bases loaded walks, to bring in runs.
You're right.
Yep. But here's the deal with that. If that's your concern, then maybe you need new pieces, right? Like, because if that's it, if the thought is, all right, well, I'm worried that he's going to walk in a run, then you got a bigger problem. Like that ends up being a bigger issue.
Don't you put it on the player there, though? Like,
you have to.
You're trying to take it out of Reyes' hands, like, oh, let's not he has walked a lot of guys in. How about, hey, dude, you're an all-star. Don't walk in the winning run.
Yeah, you set an MLB
I wouldn't
record.
say that don't walk in the winning run, but I say go get him. Go get him.
Throw
Here's Chase
strikes.
Peterson.
Coaching styles vary.
Yeah,
BT,
no, I know,
okay?
but you never. It's like don't hit it in the water, and they say, God dang it, why did I hit it in the water?
Is that the problem?
Maybe.
Coach used to tell me, don't pass a puck through the middle of the ice.
All right, whatever you do, don't throw it down the middle. Oh no!
There it is again.
Oh, loud noises.
Pizza.
Yeah, it ends up
wasn't
being a
that
little
funny,
bit of a
Army.
problem. But
You
no,
guys cut me.
That's where I end up going on it too. I would have done the same thing, and it's not a hindsight being 2020 thing. I don't think it is. Maybe subconsciously somewhere, but I was thinking through the process the same way at the time of eliminating that pitcher. I'd rather take. I know that Christian Yelich has not been very good the last couple of years. He's had his struggles, but I also know this is a difficult one because they went out and had a mound meeting before Yelich went out there, and that meeting surrounded around, hey, be very careful with Yelich. Well, when you got a young pitcher up there, you say be very careful. You're going to try to be very, very perfect. And you're going to grip something a little bit too tight, and you might end up spiking something. And lo and behold, he grips a changeup way too high, way too tight, spikes a 90-mile-an-hour changeup, and all of a sudden Jackie Bradley Jr. comes in. He scores. You're right, heads-up play. Yelich pulled the Jake Taylor out of Major League, dropping down the bunt in that spot. The only thing he didn't do was fall after hitting the base.
He did give the save.
He gave the save and then
Well, that's
ran
what
all the
swayed
way
the
down the
umpire,
right
right?
field line.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Umps were great
It was a
last
heck
night,
of a
too.
play by Sosa. And to double up on something you said, Jamie, first of all, Sosa was out there, makes a hell of a play. Nolan Arenado likely makes that play. Christian Yelich probably doesn't try that bunt.
It's crazy how
with
it
Nolan
changes,
Arenado
right?
out there.
There's
He
no
just
way
doesn't.
Yelich does it because he thinks to himself, Arenado can cover this. He's gonna get in on that ball. He'll barehand it, probably gun me out at first, and this. No, I'm
You
gonna
don't
swing
even
away.
attempt it. And Sosa did everything that he could on that play, but I don't think he tries it with Nolan there.
And if Nolan is there, is Reyes throwing that changeup that turns into a wild pitch? Because Yelich had struggled so much. I mean, he was 0 for 4 at the time. Are you just going straight at a guy who has struggled so much this season and seeing if he's just going to take the swing at it?
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? And it's easy.
Should
Again,
Yachty have had that wild pitch? I know
I
he's
think
set
it's-
up on the outside, but
He was already pretty frustrated.
and you end up spiking. That is nowhere near a routine one. Because there have been some recently, and I've mentioned it. There have been some balls that Yachty could have gotten and didn't. A crossfired changeup at 90 that bounces in the other batter's box isn't the easiest thing in the world to corral. Have we seen him do it in
I'm
the
not
past?
blaming Yachty. I'm just wondering, thinking out loud.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Yachty will tell you, yeah, he probably could have gotten to that, but he probably shouldn't have gotten to that one. So to me, the frustrating aspect of the entire thing wasn't even that sequence. It wasn't necessarily Nolan getting kicked out. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. Just emotions in the game, how you check them, how maybe umpires should probably check some things as well. I think that's a very interesting thing. Jamie, I'm sure that you've had some officials back in the day
Yeah, a couple.
that have maybe had to skate away or get a puck near their head or whatever the situation
Threaten with a hockey stick.
might
All
end
the
up
above.
being. To me, the maddening part though is you score a couple off of one of the best starters in the league. He gets out of the game, should be a blessing for you, ends up being a curse.
Yeah.
You go ahead and just let that bullpen mow you down, and they did. And I'm not saying, when I say let, it's not like they weren't trying, but that was your opportunity to add on in a ball game. I know Schulte talked about that part as well, being frustrating. He wanted to be able to add on. So it's a frustrating loss. Would love to get a pulse on the Cardinal fan base right now, because here's the deal. At the end of the day, you lost 2 games that were one swing away from going your direction. Either time. Now, they didn't. So
To
you're
the
down
best
2
team in
games.
baseball.
To a juggernaut. The aforementioned. Look, you've called it a juggernaut for the last couple of days,
No,
Jamie.
I've
I'll
never
stick with
called
it.
it a
It's
juggernaut.
the
Not
Brewers
ever.
are a juggernaut right now.
No.
That's correct.
No, they're not.
So, how do you feel? Were you riding the wave before, and now you're totally going the other way? Do
This
you
is terrible.
Janet, is it terrible? Like Janet said, you feeling all right? Give us a little mic drop. Let us know. We said it was a statement series. What statement has been made? What statement do you want to make? Leave us a Rhino Shield mic drop on the 101 ESPN app. You can always send us text to the Air Comfort Service text line 65780. Now enough of the bad news. No more bad news for a segment. A Cardinal is likely coming back. We're going to talk about him next
Adam
on
Wainwright.
101 ESPN.
Yes.
So if anybody wants to have any further questions about that, Brandon.
It's Jamie Rivers, Alex Ferrario, Meet BT here with you. We got a text a minute ago saying, what did I miss? Why is Anthony Stalter not here? Stalter's going to be out a couple of days this week and early next week. He's got hanging with the kids the next couple of days, and unfortunately his grandmother passed away, so he's going to be heading there. Again, thoughts and prayers to the Stalter family. We'll miss our guy, but Alex graciously filling in for 4 hours today and tomorrow.
Oh, gosh.
Alex Ferrario.
Wow.
So
Apologize to everybody.
we'll pay
Does
you
it feel
in
like-
energy drinks.
Does it feel like being called up?
It does.
I remember
Moving
that.
on up.
Yeah.
You know, you get that phone
That's
call.
a good feeling, isn't it, BT? You remember?
It's like the time that I got the opportunity to call the Blues game. I'm like, man, called up to the big leagues.
You did.
This is the same feeling as
You
that.
got the tap.
I bet this is nowhere near the same feeling as that.
Not even.
I wasn't as nervous when I got the call for this though, but a little nervous.
I don't blame you.
I turned my phone on airplane mode just for the negative comments though.
No need for that. None of those coming into the Air Comfort Service text line 65780. I am interested, though, how people feel about the news today because our friend Katie Wu over at The Athletic, she tweeted a couple of hours ago, Cardinals are in discussions with Yadier Molina regarding a 1-year contract extension.
I've always wanted to dance to this with you guys.
I'm going to let this marinate for a minute for everybody.
Jamie, your moves are phenomenal.
Almost blew out a hip there.
That's what sources tell Katie Wu and Ken Rosenthal. Molina, 39 years old, signed a 1-year, $9 million contract in February, and he prefers to at least stay at the same amount for next season. So apparently, some preliminary talks between Yadier Molina and the St. Louis Cardinals. And look, this is about, we talked about this a little bit earlier in a couple of weeks ago when some of these rumors started trickling out that there was talks or at least thoughts of talks. And my first thought was, hey, as an organization, if you are able to, I would love to be able to push this off until the offseason, right? Let's get through the season. Let's figure it out. But you also don't want to get into a situation like you had last year. If you don't believe the keys are ready to hand over to, let's say, Andrew Kisner, and you know you're going to need Yachty back, why screw around with it, right? If he'll come back for the same contract, that's not going to end up hamstringing you. I think that when we've been spending the Cardinals' money in the last couple of weeks, thinking about what's the offseason going to look like, haven't you guys allocated the same amount of money to Yadier Molina?
Exactly the same amount.
I have.
I've literally taken the contract, copy and paste it, which, by the way, you right-click and you drag it.
Or you can just Control-C it.
No, he got it. No, my computer's different.
Oh,
you got
okay.
to right-click and hit the copy and then
Is there still the typewriter?
paste. Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of copy and paste.
Oh, come on. What a transition.
That was fantastically
What a
terrible.
transition. And I thought I was supposed to be the negative one. Way to go, Jamie.
Let's go, Shilty.
All right, well, you know what that means. Lineup game. Cardinals score a few early yesterday. Don't score any until really late in one run that didn't end up mattering in a 6-4 ball game. Do they mix it up? Do we see something different?
No.
Do you reshuffle the deck? I got Tommy Edman.
I would note it.
No, Army, hang on. You get your chance. You got Tommy Edman leading off? I do as well. Alex?
I'd say Tommy Edman.
Tommy
You don't
Edman?
really have another leadoff hitter.
All right, well.
This is
let's-
easy now.
Yeah, of course. When you got some.
Copy and
Dude,
paste.
Just run the table now.
here's a spot in the order that I ain't messing with. Goldie is on fire right now. He's just rattling off multi-hit games, extra base hits left and right. So Goldie, Arenado. Double dong. All right, so Tyler O'Neill.
It's got to be Bro Neal.
Tyler O'Neill's got a couple of bombs in his career against Brandon Woodruff also.
2 for 4 last
Is he
night.
really?
So that's nice. Got that going for him. So we go. I mean, I would assume.
This
Do
is
you
a
give
little
him-
bit.
Do you have a
Hang
day
on.
off today?
Let's stutter step for a
Because they lost
second
the
here.
series, so
They lost the
But
series.
you need it badly.
You
like,
need the game really bad. Is Yachty tired? He'll tell you no.
he was pretty frustrated last
He's
night
pretty
at Mundo
frustrated.
Sosa.
But that means if I'm Shilty, I'm like, yeah, I may not pet the cat the wrong way today. Yachty, you want to go?
I
Dumb
say he's
question.
going.
I say he's in as well. Alex?
I'll go with you guys. I feel like it might be Kisner, but I'll go with you.
Yachty! What?
I don't know why you
Oh,
do
he
that.
does that? Everybody likes the song. You got to hear the song.
Don't know why you
Okay,
would do
but
that.
some of us have hip flexors that are very sensitive to the
Trying
hip
to
thrust.
loosen them up for you, Jamie. Let me help you. Try
No.
side to side, Jamie.
I did do side to side.
Still hurts?
Yeah, it hurts more now. So no Yachty.
Lost the
Okay,
series.
fine, me. I get it.
This is how you shake
Who
things
jumps
up.
up to the 5-hole then? I mean, this is a big spot. This goes back to our conversation the other day about the impact of losing Dylan Carlson, and kind of you look at the bench and you say, I don't know what you want to do. Like, it's hard to replace a top 4 or 5 guy in the lineup. All right, so do we boost? Does everybody get the boost up, or do you plug and play? Right.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is the copy and paste? Is this just throw Kisner in at 5?
No.
Because
No,
There's
Kisner's
no
like
way.
always
Okay.
number 8 in the lineup.
So is this going to be
Always.
Lars Taylor, Tatsui Newtbar? Is this Paul DeYoung?
I would go with
Bader.
You don't.
No,
That's who I was wondering.
No,
jump
you
to
keep
5,
Bader
Bader
hasn't
man.
been very good lately.
Where did Newpar hit you
I
last
go
night?
6. I think they
Yeah.
move up Newt to 5.
I think they go Paul DeYoung at 5.
I think I'm going to
Alex?
side with Newpar on this
All
one.
right, Lars Taylor Tatsui Newtbar.
Run it.
Oh,
Lars
look at
Taylor,
that.
Tatsui Newbar batting 5th.
Thank God we got him.
Yeah, no, that is a good
Amen.
thing. So
good
I'm
point.
going 6 here. I'm going Paul DeYoung.
I would go with that. I'm good with that. Although I do think Harrison
I would
Bader,
say
even though
Bader part of me wonders if Bader's there because if he was there last
Did you
month-
just say the Bader part of
the
me?
Bader part of me.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dad
Not bad.
joke.
I like that.
No, it's good.
You're qualified now.
You are
It's true.
somewhat.
Takes a couple years. Whoa.
What did you go with?
So
DeYoung?
you both
Yeah, I went
DeYoung.
DeYoung.
I said Bader, but
But if you
Majority
look,
rules.
Majority rules. If you guys pick Jamie's, he's riding the fence post here.
Yeah, I am.
He's sitting on it longer than most would expect, but he
Somewhat
doesn't mind.
uncomfortable too.
Just don't know.
Let's see here. I'll go Paul DeYoung on this one.
All right, let's hear it. Paul DeYoung.
there it is.
All right, so Paul DeYoung's batting 6. That means 7 is going to be probably Bader, unless you want to go with speed at the end with 8. So it's going to be Kisner, Bader in some order here.
If I'm building this lineup, which means it won't be this way,
Okay.
I would have Kisner, then Bader.
I
at
would
8.
too.
But I
would
think
too.
Schilte's going to be like, I don't want to upset my regular guy, so I'll go Bader, Kisner, because that's just the way it should be, because
Well-
then Kisner can't get mad at me anyways.
Yeah, but Bader hit 8th last night too. So
Did he, though?
Yeah. He did.
It's unnecessary.
What do you guys want here, Kisner or Bader?
I think
I
I'd go
think-
Bader Kisner.
I think Schilte will go Bader, Kisner.
Harrison Bader. Andrew Kisner. John Lester.
There it is.
Feels like a winner, boys. It feels like a winner. All right,
So they didn't copy and paste.
no need.
Well,
No need
kind
for
of.
that.
Kind of.
Look, the
like a
Brewers
couple of
haven't even
deletes.
put out a lineup. That's how scared they are of John Lester and the Cardinals right
they
now.
ever.
All right, so the Cardinals
woke
trying
up
to
yet.
salvage a series against Brandon Woodruff and the Brewers. What has Brandon Woodruff even done this year?
Truth.
2.18 ERA. Leading off and playing second base is Tommy Edman. Batting second, Paul Goldschmidt. Playing first, Nolan Arenado is going to be batting third, playing third. Tyler O'Neill, who has a couple of babambas off of Brandon Woodruff, he's playing left and batting fourth. Lars Taylor Tatsui Newtbar is batting fifth and playing right. The shortstop, Paul DeYoung, is batting sixth. Harrison Bader playing center and batting seventh. And doing the catching today, Andrew Kisner.
Is this 31st start?
Somewhere right around. I think it's 31. Yeah, our number is
countdown's on
39.
right now.
And John Lester is on the bump. So there's your lineup as the Cardinals try to salvage this series, see if they can end up on the winning side of things against the Milwaukee Brewers.
They can't win anything.
Janet, you don't even believe that because she's sunshine. Janet is golly pops. Like, Janet believes in the Cardinals. Do they muff a few balls here and there? Certainly.
More than a few.
Are there times where she's not as positive as others? We all go there. You know, we all have those times, but tonight is the night. All right, we didn't even get to talk about Yadier Molina, the fact that he might be coming back on an extension. What does that mean for him? What does it mean for Kisner? What does it mean for Ivan Herrera or maybe some other free agent catcher out there this offseason? That's next on 101 ESPN.
A ball and 2 strikes. Molina with a drive. Into deep right. It is down. The Cardinals will win it. Goldie scores. Yadi delivers against Kimbrough. There it is. A base hit into right center. He is now in 4th place all alone on the Cardinals' all-time hits list, hit number 2,074. He passes Albert Pujols, and he is 4th all-time in hits in Cardinals history.
Well, for our friend Katie Wu from The Athletic. And if you're not dancing, you're doing it wrong. The Cardinals are
2 hands on the wheel, though.
Discussion with Yadier Molina regarding a 1-year contract extension. That's again Katie Wu at The Athletic. Sources tell her and Ken Rosenthal. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Alex Ferrario, Meet, BT, Anthony Stalter will be back with us middle of next week. And look, boys, I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody, right? That the Cardinals are thinking about bringing Yadier Molina back for another season, does it?
No, not at all.
No shock.
No shock.
So here's the question is, what does the future of this position look like? Now, it's very likely going to look like Yadier Molina on a 1-year contract, rumored to be around, or at least Yadi wants, around what he's making this year, which is $9 million. He said he would probably take a little bump if you wanted to give it to him. Chances are.
if you feel
I
like
haven't talked to his representation, but he said if you want to give me 10, I'll take 10 or 12 or whatever you want to sprinkle
nice
in.
Guy.
Just kind of like, for the whole
team
legacy,
player.
the whole
Like the
legacy
$100
thing.
handshake
Yeah.
or like official?
Just throw a little bit more in. Official. Let's make it official.
Okay.
Want to be up there with some of those other catchers.
The other one feels kind of risky.
It does. It does. Like, man, I know I shouldn't be taking this money, but I'm taking this money, and I'm going places with it, and we're going to have a great time. So Yadier Molina is likely to come back next season. We'll see how these talks come to fruition, how long they end up taking. I don't picture this being a thing where it drags out like this past season did, where we're picturing him in a White Sox uniform. We're hearing him with the Yankees, and we're hearing him with the Padres. Those were dark times, boys. I know we were in the middle of a pandemic, but for some reason, for Cardinal fans, that felt even worse. Like, there were just some things where you just look at it and say, please don't. So at least you're probably not going to have that issue this upcoming season. What does that mean for Andrew Knizner? Knizner starting today, by the way. John Lester's on the bump. Knizner's making his 31st start of the season. How do you guys think they look at that position going forward?
Well, the way I think the Cardinals look at it is, yes, you want to get Yadi back in place for at least one more season. We'll see where it goes from there. I'm not looking beyond that. I'm sure that the Cardinals aren't either. Yadi, he might be looking 5 years down the road. I don't know. That guy, he's crazy in a great way when it comes to how much he loves the game of baseball. But if I'm the Cardinals, I'm looking at Ivan Herrera in the minors, and I'm going, how far is he? How far is he? Can I get him some games? Is it worth my time next season to sprinkle him in a little bit? Or am I finally going to go all in on Andrew Knizner, meaning all in, in quotations, okay? Meaning that he gets to play more than 35 games, 40 games in a season. Then the argument goes back, or the discussion, BT and Alex, goes back to, can Yadi actually tolerate not playing every single game? I know he hasn't played every game this year, and Knizner's probably going to get to that 40, 45 game plateau. I think he will get to that point, but that's still not.
You do think he's going to get over 40 games
I do
this
think,
year?
which is important to our listeners too. We have BT and I have an over-under bet here. It was set at 39.5 starts for Andrew Knizner.
Pretty good number.
It is a great number. It's going to be tight. I think tonight is Knizner's 31st start.
That's correct.
So I'm just going to give BT his money. He's going to win for sure. No big deal.
Don't do that to me.
But in all seriousness, I think that if you're going to see what you have there, even from a value standpoint to where you'd like to use Knizner as trade bait in the future because Herrera's your guy, whatever, you have to get him into the 50 to 60 game at least next year to see what you have there, because he's still raw. There's a lot of things we talk about, and I don't know much about the game of baseball when it comes to catching, certainly, but I watch him drag pitches out of the strike zone. And Yadi, there's a couple of calls in the game where Yadi would have had those as strikes. The umpire would have thought twice about it. If nothing else, Knizner's dragging him out, and I go, he needs more time behind the plate. And I don't think 35 to 40 games is going to cut it. You got to give that guy more time to find out really what you have.
Well, and with Knizner, too, you wonder if they go into next season, which I don't see how Yadi would agree to, is the last game of the series, that's where Knizner gets the starter. The getaway ones, so you get him more reps. But it really seems like you're at the point now where Andrew Knizner is the glorified backup until Ivan Herrera's ready, because they've said Herrera's the guy, and when he's ready in 2 years, he's the starter to take over for Yadier Molina. So where does that put Andrew Knizner? It really feels like in this scenario, if Yadi is back next year, do you approach the offseason and see if Andrew Knizner is that trade piece for you to upgrade your offense elsewhere? I mean, if you're going to go that route, I don't know if Herrera's ready to be your backup catcher. Maybe you got to spend money for a veteran to back up Yadier Molina like Matt Wieters. But it does bring back Wheaties. Wow. Why not? But it does feel like Andrew
got to be
Kisner
better by now.
I would think so.
Can Brad Miller catch?
Probably.
He does everything else.
Hit some ding dongs.
But it does feel like Andrew Kisner's kind of in that glorified backup role, which I wonder if John Mozeliak and company view in the offseason and say, well, let's see what's out there, because if Yadi's back, Yadi's playing at least 90 games.
That's the way that I look at it, honestly, because he's going to be back, he's going to play. There's no reason to believe that the playing time is going to look different than it looks right now. And we also know that, the organization has basically told us, Mo has basically told us that the keys, when they're ready to get handed over, they hover over the palm of Kisner and then go right to Ivan Herrera.
Yeah.
You don't drive this.
Jerk move.
It's
Somebody
like
else is going to drive
the same
this.
sides of a magnet where you're trying to push, but
Yeah,
it won't
just
go
goes
together.
apart. It's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
Now, who knows, man? Anything could change. Kisner end up going on a hot streak, and they end up liking him. But I think that if I'm approaching this offseason, I think about it two ways. I can't have Ivan Herrera as my backup catcher in the big leagues next year. I don't think that for the entire season. That's not a great way for him to learn. He still needs to continue to get reps at the upper minor leagues. He's in AA now. You put him in AAA. Get some reps there. And then maybe you get about halfway or later into the season, and he's on fire, and you call him up. And you ease him in here and there, and you let him learn with Yadi, and really that changing of the guard ends up happening. But that scenario, to me, doesn't work with two young catchers. It doesn't work with Andrew Kisner being the guy there also, and with Herrera coming up potentially at the end of the year. I'm with you. Look, I think that role might need to be filled by a veteran catcher. And Kisner, I like Kisner. I think he's a good player. I think that offensively, if he
Seems
actually
like a great guy too.
Yeah, he's got good energy to him, right? And if he got the reps, I think that he could have some success out there. But I don't think that the reps are going to be there for him. But other organizations, you got to see how they end up valuing him. I don't believe that he has the ceiling, or at least as far as other organizations think, as Carson Kelly.
Right.
Like, Carson Kelly was the piece that ended up getting that deal done to bring Goldie over. Kisner is not regarded the way that Carson Kelly is, but he's still a valuable piece.
What if Ivan Herrera is not ready? What if he's not ready for you to hand the keys over, and you've gone and you've traded Kisner, okay? And you've brought in a veteran catcher to just kind of be that guy to have there, break glass in case of emergency, and he's just sort of there to help Yadi whenever Yadi can't play. Then Herrera comes up, has a cup of coffee, does pretty good, but really the intentions are for the year following to hand the keys of the camper over to Herrera. But what if he's not completely ready?
I think then you're in a situation where you have to find a stopgap. And that's where there are going to be a lot of veterans, there always are. Lots of veteran catchers that are out there on the market, and then you have to be able to reassess and say, hey, do we have another guy in the organization that we like? No. Okay. Do we have somebody else that we can make a trade for, make a play for? And here's the terrible thing about this position, and we've seen this at other spots. First base is a good example. That no matter how good, whether it's Kisner or it's Ivan Herrera is, they're not going to be Yadi. Right, so the expectations are going to end up being through the roof for those guys. So you mix and match at the position until you end up finding it or getting it right. I don't think, though, and you know this, Jamie, Alex, you know this as well. You think you know what a player is until you're on the biggest stage. That's when you really find out about a player. But I don't think that they would move Kisner until they're
for sure
absolutely sure that they have the future, as sure as you could possibly be. So it's going to be interesting. We'll keep everybody posted the more we hear about this. But again, rumor is, per Katie Wu and Ken Rosenthal, that the Cardinals are engaging in contract conversations with Yadier Molina on a one-year deal for next year. So, all right, we asked you off the top, how you feeling? We said it was a statement series against the Brewers. We ended up getting a couple of...
they look like they're really positive.
Well, a couple of losses. Meet, thumbs up or down on the...
2 thumbs down.
Okay. And
2
also,
fat, meaty thumbs
here's
down.
what I forgot to do, too, and this is my bad. You are also free to leave us a Rhino Shield mic drop with something happy about the Cardinals, if you want to, all right? What has been the statement of the St. Louis Cardinals? You were up after a 6-game winning streak. Felt good. You won 8 out of 9, too. You dropped 2. Just 2 games. 2 tight games.
They're a big game.
How you feeling? We're going to hear from you next on 101 ESPN. hear from you. We wanted to hear from the people. Jamie Rivers, coming into this series, said, look, this team is a juggernaut. I don't know what you're going to be able to do against this Brewers team.
Actually, never, ever said that.
Jamie said, I hope to keep it close and have a chance to win some games. They've kept it close. Jamie, they've had a chance to win some games.
Am I taking crazy pills?
But they haven't. When you sit in that seat, we make up stuff that you say. Don't you know that?
Well,
I mean, Anthony does it generally. We act like he says
listeners
some
can't
stuff.
see into the booth right now.
Yeah,
here.
but you're in the Anthony seat.
I'm in Anthony's driver's seat right now. I'm trying to keep it warm for him, and that's why it's happening.
I'm the captain now.
Thank you.
This is Jamie's boat now. All
right.
right, so
Feels
we
kinda
wanted to
good.
hear from the people. What are you thinking? What is the statement? You're probably still fully on board. As Alex, you mentioned earlier, the Cardinals still in the thick of things
That's
when it
right.
comes to the wild card race.
Attainable.
Had an opportunity yesterday. Padres lost. Reds lost.
To the Cubs.
You lost. But you know what? I know that our people are feeling good. And we got hit with a couple of our favorites right off the bat, bringing the heat, bringing the positivity. Janet, how we feeling?
Pitching to Yelich wasn't the issue. The lineup to begin with was the issue. You got to play the hot hand. I keep telling you guys that. And also, you have to be way ahead if you're going to be, I guess, maybe 4 runs ahead in order to have our bullpen come in. And, of course, they could still blow it then.
Anything's possible. Anything is possible.
Okay, she's not wrong.
Here's what
Completely.
I want to know. Like, and Janet, honestly, if you're still listening, first of all, we freaking love you.
I've been listening.
I know you have, and you've been interacting, and you're in. I am interested. Who is this hot hand we speak of?
I was wondering
Because
that too.
Goldie is the hottest player on earth that you have
Who's the
around.
hot
and
hand
he's
that's
got to
Are
be
you
out?
talking
Is
about
it Dylan
Lars
Carlson?
Nootbaar when
No.
you pinch it with Austin Dean?
Dylan Carlson.
That's who she's talking
You
about.
think that just the one pinch? She said the lineup in general is the problem.
Okay,
like,
hang
who's
on.
sitting out?
Janet, leave us another mic drop and identify who the hot hand is, please.
Maybe it was Sosa until he came in late in the game, right?
I don't know, but we're guessing right now. Maybe that's what you want.
Yeah, but you know what? The Cardinals need to be able to lock down games like that. We all know that. Like that was how you wanted to set it up, isn't it, guys? You scored off Freddie Peralta. Boom!
Immediately.
You knocked him out of there. His shoulder knocked him out. It doesn't matter who knocked him out. But he couldn't
our
pitch
version.
anymore after a couple of innings, right? And then you hopefully were going to get to the bullpen. That part didn't happen. But Jack gives you a quality start. He gives you 6 innings, gives up 2 solo shots. Solo shots don't kill you. Like, who cares? Couple of those, you still have a 1-run lead, and you hand it over to Latino Heat. And Cabrera gets it done. Gio gets it done, and then Reyes has a hanging slider.
They can't hold a lead.
Well, it's fair in that game, I guess. The hanging slider hurt. The 10th inning hurt as well. But, Janet, I know that you're going to be right back on board after a dominant win tonight, probably just like Lisa is right now.
Hey, Brad. So, you know what I think makes me the saddest about this Cardinal team? You listen to the national media and they say, Mike Shannon, they're not good. Yeah, if you look at the pieces, it seems like they should be better. But the culture of the Cardinal way is no way connected to this team. You know, they talk about Yelich last night. He's not been playing well. That's why they pitched to him. But he came up. He did his job. Monday night, how many times did our big guy that's making $35 million come up? It's like the Cardinal way is no longer. The culture is soft and mediocre. And honestly, they got to get away from that. They got to get the culture back with some intensity on this team because it's showing up in the fan base and it's showing up in attendance. They're not fun to watch. And that makes me really sad.
Well, the good news is Nolan Arenado showed that aggressiveness and tenacity last night.
Could have used Nolan Arenado to be in that game to take that at-bat in the 9th inning, though. And I don't even blame Nolan as much. I know you guys are going to talk about that later. Alan
I've
Porter.
got a lot to say about it.
There's a term I use sometimes when it comes to umpires, and it's tuck 'em in, rabbit. tuck those damn ears in and walk away. You screwed up twice.
That's what I was thinking.
Tuck them in, wrap it. That ain't
in.
it. Not the one you were thinking about. It was a different term.
I was like, I thought you said he did the tuck.
It could apply.
Would you? No. Anyways, when Lisa is talking about the losing the Cardinal way, I'll say this: Mike Schilt is a disciple of George Kissel. Like learn from him, spend tons of time around him, studies the book inside and out. That ain't the issue. But when you're not playing good baseball or consistent baseball, everything looks like you're lacking energy. And to her other point, look, at the ballpark last night, it wasn't electric. It wasn't that electric energy that you wish you had had. Now, there's so many reasons because of it. And one of those reasons, absolutely, is the inconsistency in the ball club and how they've played this year. You have COVID. You have school starting again. There are plenty of variables. But here's the nuts and bolts of it. We know in this city, if you were playing great baseball, if you just flip the records of the Brewers and of the Cardinals, place is probably going to be packed, right? Like that's just kind of how it goes. And the organization knows that as well. And let's see what they end up doing about it down the stretch here. Let's see what they end up doing about it in the off season if there's not a run to be made this year. We're going to find out. But I felt like some sadness in Lisa's voice. And maybe it's just because she said the word sad a few times that got me a little bit. I don't want Janet to be sad. I don't want Lisa to be sad.
No.
Luckily, we've got Devin who's happy.
Hey guys, I didn't have high expectations. I very disappointed that we took out one of the best starters in baseball and couldn't capitalize, but we just got shut out by their bullpen, which cool, great, grand. Very pleased about the game where we lost in a shutout. We were one swing of the bat away, like you said. But no, I mean, this is par for the course. I'm excited the Pirates are in town this weekend. Let's get some games back. Hopefully the other teams lose, but I haven't got my hopes up with this team. So that's where I'm at.
I feel like he's teetering a little bit. He gives a little bit of sadness, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of wah wah, a little bit of sunshine. Lollipop.
They're going to pull him back in. Look, this season has done that. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. Now play all the positive ones. Let's rattle off a couple. Let's like boom, 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 hit him with the excitement. Here we go.
I played it.
What do you mean?
Was the last one the positive one?
Devin was the positive.
Yeah,
Devin was the one. He's the only one in that column.
There was some positivity in there.
Was that positive?
Yeah. There's only one way to fix it.
We'll take it.
There's only one way to fix it. You win the whole blanking thing. Or you win tonight. Like, you just win tonight. Let's start here. Baby steps, okay? Got to crawl before you walk.
Who are we getting the cardboard cutout made out of? And we just take a piece of it.
Who do you want the cardboard cutout made out of?
What do you guys think?
All right, so and obviously, if you're not picking up what Jamie's laying down, he's referencing the owner in Major League. Every win that they got, they peeled a piece off. Now, it's certainly not
going. Do you do that with our owner?
No, it's certainly not going to be a Bill DeWitt. Because here's the difference. Bill DeWitt really wants his team to do well. So it's not like you're like ripping pieces off of him. Everybody within the organization wants the team to do well.
It's not really like ripping pieces of the owner off.
Yeah, but that's kind of what it was in Major League.
Well, okay, but maybe we could change that a little bit.
Who do you want to see naked, Jamie? That's, I guess...
Well, I don't.
We're just going to get straight to the point here.
Look at the pace they're going. They're going to stay fully clothed.
No, they got the Pirates and Tigers coming up.
He didn't hear. He glossed over it.
No, I heard it.
They got the Pirates and Tigers coming off. That's a lot of note cards that could be ripped off.
Yeah, I got nothing.
There's going to be positive stuff here soon. Soon, I tell you.
Tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
That lineup showed that it was positive on its way.
All right. Look, here's something positive. We need more butts in the seats. 101 ESPN has your chance to win a pair of tickets to Cardinals versus Pirates. It's this Sunday at Busch Stadium. You got nothing going on this weekend. The kiddos aren't in school. Go check them out. They're not in school over the weekend. I mean, they're probably in school now, which is kind of nice, actually, getting the kids back in school. It is First Responders Appreciation Day at the ballpark, presented by Together Credit Union. With the purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will receive an exclusive Cardinals First Responder shirt. Plus, this is kind of awesome, a portion of each ticket sold will be donated back to Backstoppers. So you can get all the details on this Sunday, First Responders Appreciation Day, at cardinals.com/theme. We do have a pair of tickets to give away. We got a pair now, and actually I think we're going to have a pair later in this show to give away to this game. Maybe one pair, maybe two pair. Hang around. We'll find out. Here's what I want to do. I mentioned a Cardinal earlier that's got a couple of home runs against Brandon Woodruff. He is in the starting lineup today. Who is that Cardinal
Brad,
with a pair
easy.
of ding-dong Johnsons against Brandon Woodruff?
Yeah.
The 101st text to the Air Comfort Service text line, 65.
All right, 101st.
780 gets that pair of tickets. Jamie, you had something to say. That's 65780. Air Comfort Service text line.
What I was going to say is...
Yeah. Oh, you know who it is? What's trending is next on 101 ESPN.
Here's a look of what's trending with the Fast Lane. Brought to you by Seavers Equipment and Exmark zero-turn mowers. Ready to work for you. SeaversEquipment.com.
All right, welcome back to the Fast Lane. Jamie Rivers here, Alex Ferrario, and DJ Meat behind the board here. We're getting ready for what's trending here. Meat, what do you got for us today?
Well, the news of the day is that Yadier Molina and the Cardinals are reportedly talking about a do-over next year. Another one-year deal, pretty much the same deal that he's looking at right now, playing on this year. 1 year, $9 million. KD Wu had the report today along with Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. So that is the big news in St. Louis. Oh, and by the way, Yadi's out of the lineup tonight. So
he's holding out.
That's what I heard. No, he's probably signing the contract.
Nah, he's holding out. He's saying, I'm not reporting one more day until you give me my extension.
He said, look at that team. You want me to play for them? That's what he said.
Aaron Rodgers style. I get it. It makes sense.
No. I think it's smart. Give Yadi a rest. I know some people on the text line, by the way, 65780, chime in at any point. Also, the Rhino Shield mic drop. If you missed it earlier, we're playing some mic drops about this was a statement series for the Cardinals. Well, what's your statement? After watching the first two games, what's your statement about the current state of the Cardinals and where they're at right now? But I think Yadier Molina, the discussion of his contract extension, get it out of the way, get it done. And for Yadi, although it probably would be nice to have him in the lineup for Game 3 against the Brewers, it is a big game. Maybe he's smarting a little bit. And what I mean by that is he took a couple of foul balls, one off the inside of the knee or whatever yesterday. These are long games, man, and Yadi's not getting any younger, and I'm not trying to be rude at all. Trust me, Yadi, I feel your pain, brother. It's not as easy as when you were 25 years old. And again, the flip side of that, Alex, we just talked about in our previous segment, a couple segments ago, which if you missed, by the way, download the podcast following the show, 101ESPN.com. That is always brought to you by our friends over at I Promise. We talked about Andrew Kisner getting some more playing time. So I think it's good for Yadi to get a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, I do too. And, you want to pounce on the teams that are upcoming because that's how you gain ground in the wild card race. And frankly, you lost this series. As much as you want to win this game, you want to make sure Yadi's healthy and ready to go for this Pirates one, especially because of those foul balls taken off of his foot and his knee. Also, we talked with Keith Costas earlier today, and he said, look, the Cardinals bought into this scenario when they decided to trade Carson Kelly. So you might as well see it through. And in seeing it through, you might as well do this last year if it is the last year for Yadier Molina, which takes you into Ivan Herrera. So it makes a lot of sense.
Boys, I want you to think about it's a short list, so it won't take long. The list of former Cardinals that you wish were still playing for the Cardinals.
Mark McGwire.
Okay, Jamie, the guys are still playing.
Well, you didn't say that.
Oh, my goodness.
Alex,
okay.
he didn't say that.
Let me rephrase this.
I didn't hear it.
Hang on. Wait.
Yes, Jamie, yes.
Take two.
The list of former Cardinals that you wish were still playing for the team that are actually still playing in Major League Baseball.
Oh, okay.
That list.
I don't want any of those guys. They're all bums.
Really? All of them?
Okay.
Yeah, every single one of them.
I don't blame you.
One of those bums got tossed from a game last night. Lance Lynn.
Oh, baby.
Oh, Lance Lynn.
I wish he was still
him.
here. That big old dog.
Been wishing he was here for the last couple of years.
The Bulldog.
Oh, barrel chest himself.
They did a substance check on him last night during the game, and he kind of stormed off to the dugout. He set his glove and his hat, I believe, on kind of the rail of the dugout, made his way down the stairs, and he said that he was trying to get ready for the next inning, get something taken care of, and the umpire wanted his belt. So from the dugout, he kind of tosses. It wasn't a throw at the umpire.
It was like he flung it up there.
Yeah, flung it up in the air, just kind of here you go.
Was it one fluid motion of just like a sword?
He
coming
kind
out?
of did this, and
awesome.
he kind of looked like a rubber snake that he threw over at the umpire.
Yeah, like tried to scare him.
Yeah, well,
the umpire didn't like it. The umpire
Wow,
tossed him
so
immediately. After the game, Tony kind of like, yeah, Lance can't do that. But Lance was just saying, hey, be on time. That's pretty much what he told the umpire. If you weren't late, you would have got it the way that you wanted it.
Yeah, Lance Lynn was awesome after. I've always loved Lance Lynn's post-game pressers, whether it was with Jimmy the Cat or with the whole press conference. I love his honesty and the fact that he cuts right to it right away. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I side with Lance Lynn on this one. Should he have tossed it like that? No, obviously you got to be a little bit smarter than that. However, he did get all the way down 2 steps, I think, into the dugout, and the ump is like, hey, give me your hat. I got to check you. So he's like, okay, fine, takes it off. And then the post-game presser, he does mention that he needed some medical attention. He's been dealing with something lately. And the innings, the half innings that he's got there, you got to get whatever's done quickly. What if your guys go 3 up, 3 down, 3 pitches? It could literally be 3 pitches.
Especially if you play for the Cardinals.
Well, no, this is not the Cardinals. This is the White Sox, so it'll probably be a little longer. But still, with that on the table, Lance Lynn was like, dude, here, just take my belt. I probably should have said, hey, here, and dropped it and then walked away. Probably didn't look all that great because he's kind of scurrying away at the same time. So the umpires got, the red flags are going off. What's going on here? I think that both sides handled it wrong. I think the ump should have been a little less sensitive, maybe a little quicker to grab Lance Lynn after the inning was over. Then Lance Lynn at the same time, you can't take your belt off and fling it to the umpire in a way. And we all know how he did it. I mean, it was Lance Lynn. It wasn't done with any polish on it.
I see nothing wrong with this either.
I feel like if you're a player, you have the right to be kind of pissed off about that anyways. If you're getting checked like that, especially if another team or whatever is calling you out, that check is happening. I'm going to be pissed off.
This was the standard
anyways.
check.
I know. It's just the whole process, I think, is wearing.
Is it
on
always
these guys.
the belt? Because I thought it was just the hat and the glove.
No, they check the belt and sometimes even around the pants because pitchers will act like they're tucking in their jersey and they got it on the inside of the pants there.
But most of the time, they just kind of like fold the belt over, right? They don't take it all the way off and do all that.
I see nothing wrong. I think the ump was just embarrassed that he got it, shown up by Lance Lynn there. So he figured, I'm going to show
soft.
you.
There's no doubt he was soft on that one.
He was softer than the first base umpire from last night's game.
Well, that guy had a bad night, too.
Speaking of soft, OnlyFans is about to get pretty soft because no more adult content is allowed. No more. Made it official today.
That does make it soft.
They are trying to clean things up, I guess. So somebody else is going to have an opportunity to provide the sort of content that OnlyFans used to provide.
Yeah, look, I don't know much about OnlyFans. Apparently, I should find out more because it looks like there's some.
I thought you downloaded an account, Jamie.
No, not yet.
That's how he was making money.
And now, as of right now, I won't anyways. But it seems to me like that was the only. Get it? Reason only.
I got it.
All right.
Good. Not as good as the soft transition.
Thank you.
It was close though.
But that seems to me that was the main vehicle for that website was to have risque things on there, however you want to word it. And now if they're removing that ability, I don't really know what they're expecting to become with that website. I imagine somebody else would go, okay, hold my beer. Here's my website, and you can do whatever you want.
It's essentially a YouTube now, right?
Well, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And am I forgetting something? Because I haven't heard a lot of outpour of people that are upset with OnlyFans.
Well, just wait till the school teacher and the guy, the UPS
school,
guy, and all the guy who's got that person who's got the extra source of income is going to be like, whoa.
It's been dropped $50 a month for this. What's going on here?
What's going on? Now, and that brings up the next question. So will you still be charged the same amount even though you're not getting the same content?
That's a good question.
They can't charge that much.
You got to have a whole reset.
Yeah.
Then.
Half price at least.
Forget about it.
Take half off and they take half off.
Well,
might as well.
I would take that deal.
Boys, on this date in 1951, a legend by the name of Eddie Gaedel made his appearance in Major League Baseball for the St. Louis Browns, got an at-bat. It was a stunt, as some would call it, publicity stunt at the end of the season. It was a Browns team that was, I believe, in last place. They were out of contention, and the owner thought it would be a good publicity stunt. As you know, Eddie Gaedel was a dwarf. So I want to ask you guys, what is the Cardinals' plan when they are out of contention this year? What is the publicity stunt that is going to really get the fans at the ballpark?
Fred Bird in the lineup?
That would be good.
Mike Shannon.
Okay, well, Mike Shannon, he's like,
You don't think he can make a connection? I think he makes a connection.
No, it's iconic, and I don't really see that as like a gimmick.
Yeah, but not a gimmick. But if you want butts in the seats, hey, Shannon's going to take an at bat, right?
Mike Shannon taking an at bat? Yeah. I don't know if he'd like to do that right now. I don't know.
Probably not.
Maybe.
See,
I'd rather have Mike Shannon just telling stories in between innings,
or
like on the jumbotron. Like I think that would be entertaining.
But like stories that probably shouldn't be told on the jumbotron.
Maybe we'll
that's
have
the
them
kind of
told on
stories I want.
OnlyFans.
There we go.
Maybe that's what we'll
narrate
do.
an OnlyFans video.
So,
I'm subscribed.
Honestly,
First subscriber.
I'm subscribing on that.
That's $10 well spent. Fred Bird, righty or lefty at the plate? You think?
I think he's a switch
hitter.
Yeah.
He's trying
For sure.
Does it intimidate the pitcher if he's not wearing pants?
I don't know if that's a rule.
It's a distraction.
I mean, Lance Lynn got overthrowing his belt, but
maybe
not
Fred
all
Bird
of his
pitches.
pants.
Can't really ask for his belt after
Jose
that
Altuve
appearance.
wouldn't even take his shirt off, and Fred Bird's not
Well,
going to wear pants.
he promised his girlfriend he
Yeah,
wouldn't
that
do
tattoo.
so,
You can't show that tattoo
you
off.
You gotta be sympathetic to that poor guy. He
Nobody
didn't want to get the heat at home from, hey, you took your shirt off again.
Nobody wants to see the dragon tattoo on his chest.
Yeah. All right, that was what's trending here. We got the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, coming up next here on 101 ESPN. The Fast Lane. Stay tuned for some hockey talk. All right, welcome back to the Fast Lane. Jamie Rivers here, Alex Ferrario, and Brad Barnes, a.k.a. Meat. We're still working on getting old Chris Kerber, the voice of the Blues, on the line here. He must be busy. Maybe he's on the golf course. It is a beautiful day, and you know what, guys? I wouldn't blame him one bit at all. Now, also, another guy I don't blame at all is Nolan Arenado for last night. I don't think that, first of all, if you missed the game last night and you're watching and wondering, well, how come Edmundo Sosa was out there for the bunt by Christian Yelich? How come Mike Schill pitched to Christian
Defensive
Yelich?
replacement, of course.
Yeah, well, it all started with Nolan Arenado. Well, he kind of got jobbed out there. Umpire Alan Porter rung him up on a second questionable check swing of the game. Not one, but two times. And Arenado, not happy about it. He bit his tongue originally, kind of looked over at him, gave him the two times, and he was mad. He went to the dugout, and at that point, I think we all thought, that's going to blow up.
Mm-hmm. When he did the 1-2, that's where I was thinking this is it.
But then I thought, he went down to the dugout. Usually that's a chance to grab a drink, towel off, talk to the teammates. Somebody gives you the, hey, dude, I get it.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah, pump the brakes. We got a little bit of game. We had a big game here. But then Arenado comes out again, which, again, I don't blame him for this. I don't blame him at all for being upset with the umpire in this situation, because when you look at the replay, it wasn't even close. And actually, I think, guys, that's the biggest thing that triggered Nolan Arenado, was that he got to the dugout, probably pulled out the video, the tablet, and watched it and go, are you blanking kidding me right now? And then when he came back out, Alan Porter standing there with his arms crossed, trying to act like he's got big pipes or something. Whatever, dude. It's Nolan Arenado. Take a step back. But Arenado is, you can see, visibly upset. And he's mouthing things that we can't repeat on the radio. Wish I could. Some days it's close, but we're not allowed to repeat it.
Off air.
And then instead of just putting his head down and kind of walking the other way, he lets himself get all butthurt. He sits and he's like, and just walk away. It's Nolan Arenado, for one thing, a future Hall of Famer. He is one of the Cardinals' best players. He's been an all-star. It's Nolan freaking Arenado. Give him the benefit of the doubt that late in the game. Now, I'm sure as a text line will pop out, Arenado's got to bite his tongue a little bit. You're not wrong. 65780, by the way, the Air Comfort Service text line. Chime in at any time. Arenado probably should show a little bit more discipline in that moment, knowing, so the same argument can be spun back, Alex. No, the umpire needs to know how tight this game is. So does Nolan Arenado. He needs to know as well that this is an important game. You can't get tossed. But at the end of the day, I do feel like Alan Porter was a little bit soft on this one. I've been in this situation multiple times with different referees in the course of my career, and the good ones, the true professionals, put their head down and they skate away or they walk away and do something else. Let the guy blow off the steam and then leave him in the game because he's too much of an impact player to be throwing him out at that point.
Well, and that's the part that bothered me more than anything for how soft the umpire was. It's not like this guy's been in the league for 2 years and he's getting mouthy with you. This is a guy who's been in the league for almost 10 years. He's won multiple gold gloves. He's been in the MVP conversation. And you're just going to throw him out because he mouthed off to you? And frankly, it wasn't even as aggressive as it could have been. I mean, we've seen scenarios that have gotten really bad before somebody's gotten tossed. The part that got me, Jamie, and you might be able to expound on this from a former athlete's perspective, I was a little surprised Mike Schilt didn't jump into it faster.
Well, that's actually a text we got here on the text line. Again, 65780, Air Comfort Service text line from the 573. Schilt should have jumped in, should have jumped Porter on that one and made sure that Arenado didn't get thrown out. I don't disagree. I think that, but same breath, okay? In the same breath, Mike Schilt is trying to provide an air of calm at the same time. You know, you're trying to be like, okay, guys, let's not get too upset here. Nolan's blowing off some steam. He went into the dugout. When Nolan Arenado came back out of the dugout, if I was Mike Schilt or one of the managers, I would have also been on the field.
That's where
at that point, to where I'm not there to intervene right away. I'm not attacking Alan Porter verbally and letting him know, but I'm just kind of a fly on the wall right now. And if Arenado comes out of the dugout and he's heated, I'm creating a barrier at that point where I grab somebody else and maybe, hey, walk him over to third. At the same time, I'm walking over into Alan Porter's vision, his line of vision. So all he sees is me. He doesn't see Arenado behind him, giving him the twice and the shake into the fist and the head shake. I think it was a mistake there by Mike Schilt. But at the same time, you shouldn't have to have all this smoke and mirrors for an umpire to not throw out your star player or one of your star players at that point of the ballgame.
Right, and that's it. I mean, like, at the end of the day, you can't be so concerned by one player. He's the star player. He needs to make sure he can control it, but you also need the umpire to be calm there. I was just in the scenario going through my head. If I'm Mike Schilt, you know it's in between innings. You know Nolan's already ticked off, and he probably did exactly what you said. Went into the video room, watched both of them, and said, okay, this is ridiculous. But when he's coming out, I'm thinking, Mike Schilt, maybe you walk up and start having a calm conversation with Alan Porter to distract him from Nolan Arenado. And if Arenado's running his mouth, well, you're in the middle of this, and Mike Schilt can kind of be the middleman here. But it also signifies to the point of the bench is a little bit short for the Cardinals as well, because, look, you don't have any other your options are Edmundo Sosa, who's a very good defensive replacement player, or you go to Matt Carpenter. Mm-hmm. So either way, if he gets tossed, you're in a bad situation. But that's all on the umpire, in my opinion, because you can't be that soft, and especially when it comes to how rough of a game the home plate umpire was having with that strike zone and with the check swings.
It's been a couple of games where the umpires have been a little bit all over the map, I'll tell you that much. And the frustration for me in game one was certainly there with the strike zone that was, well, let's just call it, it was moving. It was expanding and shrinking depending on how the umpire viewed it that inning. But the text line here is 65780. One of our texters brings up a good point, and I don't know if there's any validity to it, Alex, and we'll bounce it off you from the 314. No, the team needed some energy. Arenado's actions could have injected that desperately needed energy. Here's where I am on that right there. Did they really? They were up by a run at that point. If my memory serves me correct, they were up by a run toward the end of the game. Did they really need the energy? And would that provide it? I don't know. I wish BT was here right now. Yeah. And BT for our text line is wondering what happened to BT. No, we didn't fire BT. He'll be down at Bally Sports Midwest tonight. He's helped doing the game with our awesome crew down there. So he'll be giving you that coverage starting at, I think it's 6:45 first
start,
pitch. Yep. But yeah, I don't know if the team needed that kind of energy. I don't know if baseball is the kind of sport to where that gets you going when a guy gets after the ump.
Yeah, I mean, energy in baseball comes from when you get guys on base and you start to kind of put some pressure on the pitcher. Energy isn't like hockey where you get Binnington skating off the ice and going after three different players and you get energy off of that. So, and even if it was supposed to spark energy, it didn't. I mean, his frustration leaving the batter's box after that called strike three leading into the start of that next inning, it actually kind of dissipated from the energy because from there, you one, lost your best defender at third base, and two, you lost one of your biggest bats. So if anything, that sucks the life out of your lineup.
Yeah, I agree. And the last thing I'm going to say about this is that I do think Mike Schilt should have intervened in some capacity there. A lot of texts hitting the text line right now saying that it's inexcusable, unforgivable. Mike Schilt has to be there, has to be in control of this. He has to be leading the team. Okay, I agree. However, Nolan Arenado is one of your leaders. He's one of your biggest stars on your team. If he wants to run the leash a little bit tight, then you let him do that. I think that ultimately at the end of the day, and I think Cardinal Nation will support this thought, that Alan Porter just got a little bit sensitive and he looked a little bit like a rookie on that play because a veteran guy should have realized everything encompassed in that one moment. Buried your head, walk the other way, go talk to the other dugout, whatever it is, go talk to the other end, the bullpen, walk all the way out to the outfield, avoid the confrontation because once that first pitch happens in that next inning, it's over with. Nolan Arenado is focused on playing ball again, and then he would have been available to the Cardinals later on in the game when you desperately needed a bat and you desperately needed that Christian Yelich bunt to either be unsuccessful or not happen at all. Anyways, we'll see. Mike Schilt will have some decisions to make tonight. Alan Porter will be behind home plate tonight.
I can't wait.
Behind home plate calling balls and strikes.
Maybe,
boy, yeah.
a lot of strikes.
I can't wait for not for the exact same reason. So anyways, he's Alex Ferrario. That's Brad Barnes. I'm Jamie Rivers. When we come back, we're going to talk about Lance Lynn. We're going to talk about other players and the perfect fit. Is a player a perfect fit for the city? Should we consider that when we're signing guys? I don't know. We'll find out next on 101 ESPN. It's the Fast Lane. I'm Jamie Rivers, joined by Alex Ferrario and Brad Barnes behind the board here. BT off to do Bally Sports Midwest for your Redbirds tonight. Anthony Stalter's got a couple of days off here. So, first of all, we have a winner, guys. Winner chicken dinner for the Cardinals. Tickets for this Sunday versus the Pirates. Our question was, who has multiple home runs versus Brandon Woodruff for the Cardinals tonight? And the answer was what, Alex Ferrario?
Tyler Broneal, ladies and gentlemen.
Tyler Broneal.
Canadian Hulkster.
Yeah, a lot of people knew the answer to that, but our 101st texter was Blake from Edwardsville. So, congratulations to Blake. Hopefully Sunday's a great game. They're playing the Pirates. Should be a win for the Cardinals either way.
Easy.
If you missed it and you'd like to have another opportunity to get some tickets, well, it's not all that hard. Now, it won't be here today. It won't be on the Fast Lane, but it will be tomorrow morning on Carricker and Smallman. Listen in. They'll have some trivia questions. They'll have a little contest, something. They're going to be looking to give away 2 more tickets to the Cardinals versus the Pirates on Sunday. So, last night, guys, I know that we talked about this, but there was a tweet bouncing around after Lance Lynn's ejection that essentially said Lance Lynn is the perfect fit for the Chicago White Sox fan base. It couldn't be more true, right? He looks like average Joe. He's an a-hole who has no issue expressing his mind, and he just has that salt of the earth, salt in your wound kind of vibe to him. He's a perfect Chicago White Sox guy. How on earth could he have actually played anywhere else but for the White Sox? Who else is like that for you guys? You know, you look at some of the examples here. Meet, and I know you wrote down a bit of a list here. Derek Jeter, New York Yankees. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine Derek Jeter anywhere else. Couldn't imagine that. And who else did you have on that list, Meet?
Adam Wainwright?
Yeah.
Like the guy that we see week in and week out for your St. Louis Cardinals, just kind of that blue collar, get it done, whatever it takes. I feel like that fits the Cardinals. That fits the city. Mm-hmm. It's the perfect combination, and he just kind of took over. He's the captain.
Speaking of blue collar, how about your St. Louis Blues? Right now, if we stay current, okay, let's do that. And by the way, Air Comfort Service text line 65780. Is there a player that you can think of that is the perfect fit for where they played? A St. Louis Blue, a Cardinal, a Ram, whatever it is, okay? Text it to us, 65780. Let us know. We'll read it off. We'll have a little fun with it. But Ryan O'Reilly, you look at the St. Louis Blues right now, and St. Louis is a town of meat. You and I talked about this earlier today. This city embraces blue collar. for whatever reason, yes, Brett Hull, I think Brett Hull is a kind of a standalone, or you either have to be a megastar or a blue-collar guy. You can't be a tweener. And so you look at Ryan O'Reilly, he's the captain of the Blues. He comes in. He's got that lunch pail mentality. He's first on the ice, last off the ice. Everybody talks about how much extra work he does. He gets out there. He never stops. You play him 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, each shift is going to look the same as the one before. He's just going to empty the tanks. So Ryan O'Reilly, to me, embodies the city of St. Louis with the way he plays, much like some of our past guys where you look at, heck, let's go back to not even fighters, because we'll get to them in a second. But guys like Craig Conroy, Scott Pellerin, Blair Atchinham. I know that you're sitting in your car right now and I'm going, what is he talking about? Think about those guys. Bob Basson.
Yep.
Those kind of guys. Look, you got Brian Sutter, who, yes, he was a fantastic player, but he embodied the city of St. Louis. Blood everywhere, behind the bench, as a player, as a coach, you name it. And then not to mention, as we dive into some of the fighters, your Kelly Chases, your Tony Twist, your Cam Jansen, your Reed Lowe. Think about the popularity that those guys had, and it's just because they were salt of the earth type guys.
Does a team, I don't know how to phrase this, does a team adopt a city's identity? Like when you're in the locker room, like does that rub off? Like you look in the stands and see the kind of fans, the kind of people that are coming in. Does that mindset kind of mold into the team?
I think it does sometimes. Like I remember when I got traded to the Boston Bruins, and I was playing for Ottawa at the time, and Ottawa didn't really have an identity per se, newer type team, and they're just kind of getting back in the league. And it was like we had a great team, won the Eastern Conference, pretty good team. But when I got traded to the Boston Bruins, it was like, the big bad Bruins, the city of Boston's in your face, like they don't care. So when you go there, I thought to myself, I need to play like that because these people, that's what they want. Right. Stan Jonathan, Cam Neely, those type of Chris Nyland, your Massachusetts guys have that little burr in their saddle all the time. So I think for sure when I was playing for the Bruins and also for the Blues, I will say that the Blues, again, going back to some of the past, we'll call them heroes, that were blue-collar type guys, you want to make sure you bring your lunch pail to work here or you're going to get blasted right out of this city. If you're not scoring 50 goals and you're not trying to block shots, if you're just kind of a tweener, like I said, you're not going to last long in some of these cities.
I feel like you go to those teams and the history kind of speaks for itself. Like you're speaking of the Blues there, a player who comes maybe doesn't know much about St. Louis. They walk in and the first thing they hear about is Bobby Plager, right? Then they look up highlights and they're like, oh, that's how they play in St. Louis. I need to do that. The other team that comes to mind was the Philadelphia Flyers, right? Like anybody who went to Philly, you had to just be a nasty dude who went out on the ice and threw down nonstop. Ron Hextall, any of those guys that made their way through there. So the one player that comes to my mind currently is Cody Bellinger with the Dodgers. Like he screams Hollywood to me, right? Like there's the way he looks, the way he acts, the hair flow when he's running the bases. He just screams Hollywood. So like I see him, and I'm like, yeah, that's a Dodger.
I thought that about Clayton Kershaw too, like the hair and everything.
Kershaw's
just the California
so quiet, Kershaw's kind of an ugly dude. Though.
He's got a big face.
He's quiet.
He's got that beard like the
patchy.
Kind of like the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, like the Who's.
It's the chin strap, but it's like the really long chin
it's
strap.
Straggly. It's not very thick.
Does it look like face hair?
Yeah. It looks like somebody glued some other kind of hair there. Not sure. Chest hair.
You forgot a big name for the Blues, Jamie. Text line mentions this 65780, and great drop in here on this one. The guy that kind of embodies the city, Vladimir Tarasenko.
It felt unnecessary.
What?
It was kind of a shot.
I don't have access to your mic right now, but if I did,
I'm the messenger.
I would
from
break
the text line to
I
the
wouldn't
mic.
even shut it off. I'd break it.
Okay.
Ivan Drago's down. I'll break you.
Let me try these. Different guys, different cities.
You better come with something better than that.
San Diego, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
He's the cool California vibe, smooth. Everybody loves him. Everybody's envious, wants to be there, wants him on their team. I think he embodies it perfectly.
I would agree.
He's one of those guys that like people say, well, the Cardinals should have signed him when he had the opportunity, but like you think of him in a Cardinals uniform and it just doesn't match now that he's in the Padres.
I'd be all right with it.
Well, I'd be fine with it.
We would deal with it.
It just doesn't match right now.
We could work with him.
We'll figure it out.
Text line said this one too. I had this on our list originally. The Showtime Lakers. They could have not have worked in any other city. With those guys that you had, the stars that they were, the buzz that came with it, hell, the parties that were around their games, like that could have never worked anywhere else.
Jack Nicholson's not showing up in Philly for a 76ers game.
No, he's not. It's different for sure. Let's see what other ones we have here on the text line. Obviously, Brett Hull. People love Hully and Bobby Plager. Tons of Bobby Plagers, which, you know what? Couldn't agree more. You talk about the guy who embodied the city of St. Louis and just what it is to be a Blue. That's obviously Bobby Plager. David Backus. Yeah, David Backus was a solid St. Louis Blue. And meet one of your favorites we talked about earlier today, Ryan Reeves. No matter where he goes, he will forever be loved here in St. Louis.
I was so new to hockey, and the whole blowing the kiss at Dallas thing, I was just sold at that point. Like, yes, anything this guy does, I'm in.
The moment he was called up, because I was just a fan at the time, and the moment he came up to the Blues, I'm thinking, oh, this guy matches everything they want. Like, this is Tony Twist, Kelly Chase era that I'm excited about.
And he's so cool. Like, he's just that guy. It's like, you see him, you talk to him, and he's just kind of, hey, man, what's up?
It's disappointing Vegas moved on from him because he matches Vegas's vibe like to a T.
Did they move on, or did the Rangers want him so bad?
I feel like they moved on, though.
A little bit of both, maybe?
Yeah, but it's like they ruined their culture. So, yeah, I don't get why they moved. The Rangers didn't need him.
Not sure. Barrett Jackman, that's a great one, too.
Yep.
Jax he's a total blue-collar, Western Canadian kid, gritty. Came in at 18, 19 years old and tore this league up physically. Just a great example there. Obviously, the big rig, Pat Maroon. He's a local boy, born and raised here, so a little bit of an advantage. He kind of knew what it was like to be in St. Louis.
I'm a hometown hero, baby!
Yeah. He always will be. Big rig, that's for sure. So Pat Maroon's a great one. We look at some of the other ones. Chris Pronger, nasty.
Tyson Nash's name is coming up a lot.
Tyson Nash, a little river rat himself.
NHL Network was playing that comeback game against the Toronto Maple Leafs a couple of nights ago, and I was watching, and it was amazing how many times you hear Tyson Nash's name just in front of the net or running into guys nonstop.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You keep coming in with these texts. David Freese, Braden Shen, I agree. Brett Favre, I agree. For sure. Skip Schumacher, I would agree. All these are awesome. Keep them coming. 65780. When we come back, we finally track down the man, the myth, the legend. The voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, will be joining us to talk a little hockey here on 101 ESPN. To the Fast Lane. Jamie Rivers here, Alex Ferrario in-house today. Meet Brad Barnes behind the board. It's 3:45, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, your official provider of Rolex jewelry, which I'd like to have a Rolex myself, but maybe one day, we'll see. Anyways, we're joined right now by the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber. Kerbs, how we doing today?
Jamie, doing awesome. How are you?
I'm good. Kerbs, I'm hoping that you have some kind of a Vladimir Tarasenko update, right? You've got something fresh for us, no?
No.
Dang it.
I didn't even have any fun. I didn't even have anything quippy to add to that, to be honest with you.
So, Kerbs, all jokes aside right now, and I know, look, in the hockey world, we talk about this almost on a daily basis. I know that I can't go to our neighborhood schnooks without somebody asking me about Vladimir Tarasenko, but just kind of where we're at right now, do you really think that it'll get to training camp before Army makes a decision on this one?
My vibe and my sense and my belief on this really hasn't changed from day one, which is I felt that even when this thing first broke, that he could be part of the Blues come training camp. You just look at scenarios and you have to keep it in mind as a real possibility. I do think, though, that the other key pieces that fall into place here, Jamie, and end up being, in my opinion, where and when and for how much do they get the Robert Thomas contract done with him still being unsigned and a restricted free agent, and then where on the list of priorities is adding some more potential NHL caliber, NHL dependable depth to either your forward side or your defensive side or both. Those two things, I think, may end up dictating whether or not you waiver or move, in my opinion, on keeping some of Tarasenko's salary or otherwise. But I go back to something that I thought was just really important here from the start. Vladimir Tarasenko was under contract to the St. Louis Blues. He's going to get paid, even though his cap hit $7.5 million this year. He's slated to get paid over $9 million this year. To me, there's the team has done what they can for him. He's been good, for the team. The team's been good for him. You got to see this out a little bit further. And if there was a market and something that was close to good or reasonable, I think Doug Armstrong would have taken it. That's not going to hamstring the team. That clearly hasn't been available. Otherwise, he would have taken it. So, there's probably – I don't know how real – and this is something, I think I was on with Alex when we talked to Lane Waugh about this. I just wonder sometimes how realistic Vladimir's camp has been with him about what the scenario truly is, big picture.
So, Curbs, going down this hypothetical path that Vladdy is a part of this team when the season starts, with the emergence of Jordan Kyrou and the great play of David Perron over these last few years, what does this role look like for Vladimir Tarasenko in this upcoming season?
Well, you're going to put him in. You're going to put him in the top 6 role, and you're going to play the heck out of him, because if he plays really well, 2 things happen. Either the market for him changes, and teams are willing to take, to not worry about the salary commitment, or 2, things are going to kind of smooth themselves over, and you're going to find the role for him has worked, and things are turn around there. I still believe that reconciliation and these kind of things can happen and is possible. And so I really, truly leave the door open for all of it.
Now, Curbs, I agree. Look, stranger things have happened in the world of pro sports where players go back to their teams and everything gets better really quickly, and winning and scoring goals would probably solve a lot of problems for the Blues and Vladimir Tarasenko. But I'm just wondering, do we even get to that point? Like, if you're Doug Armstrong, and look, Army's a really intelligent guy. He's proven it time and time again. But do you risk playing Vladimir Tarasenko? Of course, you want to build up his stock, because I'm sure teams are wondering right now, is he healthy? Can he do it? Can he handle the rigors of the regular season right now? But do you risk it if you're Doug Armstrong and put him in with the fact that, well, maybe what if he does get injured again?
Yeah, you know what? That's a thought process that I haven't gone too far the road down. I guess that's a risk, that you're going to take. Look, if you had thoughts that he is not healthy enough or that this thing could be injured pretty well, I'm not sure you're worried about trading him anyway, because you got to think that there's going to be some protection in that trade for that scenario built in, right? Compensatory picks, things along those kind of lines, and how that all works out. So to me, the real challenge, the way I see it, and this is just my opinion on this, is not having talked to Doug on this part, but the challenge for me is less about, hey, do you eat $1 million or $2 million of that salary cap this year? It's next year's that starts to play into it. And the Blues have been one of the few teams. I think they've been one of the few teams that just hasn't carried dead money. And one of 2 or 3, maybe, if not the only one, since the new change of the buyout system. So I honestly look at this whole thing, and there's going to be some risk involved either way. But I think you're confident in what the procedure he had done, that he could show his stuff. Now, again, maybe Doug is just simply waiting for clarity on what the overall cap situation and structure is of what he needs for the rest of those roster decisions to help him decide, what it's going to be. But having said that, I have to think right now that the reason a deal wasn't done, and don't forget, Doug Armstrong came out and said that the request came a couple days after the season ended, which was a month and a half before the story broke with Jeremy, right? Mm-hmm. So I've got to think that, that if there was a reasonable deal done, the Blues would have taken it. And my vibe is that teams are asking the Blues to keep way too much money and not offering enough in return for that exchange.
Curbs, I think what fans are hoping for in the return is an upgrade defensively, and we've talked a lot about Zdeno Chara possibly being an option for the Blues. But if you look at what they have internally right now, you'll have Marco Scandella slated as a top 4 defenseman. Do you feel like Nico Mikkola and Jake Wallman are ready to take that next step into a top 4 role for this team?
I don't know about top 4 role. I do really feel that Nico Mikkola is ready to take an everyday role. And I think we saw some real promising stuff from Jake Wallman towards the end of last season. Do those guys potentially round out to your 5 or 6 or even the potentially all-important, because we know you're going to use 7 to 9 defensemen easily in the course of a regular season. And especially go look at the schedule. This it's going to be a pretty compacted schedule if the NHL continues on the road of going to the Olympics. So I think that, and that's why I do believe that you're an injury or two away from saying, hey, we need top quality minutes from a Perunovic, from a Wallman, from a Mikola, that kind of thing. And that's why I do think that depending on how cap situations play out, some more veteran depth, a la the Carl Gunnarsson type, the way that Carl was playing a role here over his last couple of years, I think is a real luxury the Blues would like to be able to get a hold of.
Curbs, if we, for just 1 second, pretend that the Blues are in a world without Vladimir Tarasenko, the trade has gone down, and there's no player in return. It's a salary exchange, whatever you want to call it. I look at the power play for this upcoming season, and the power play has been very successful the last 2 years. The end of last season, second half of last season, the year before, and both of those years, Vladimir Tarasenko not really a part of it. However, last year, the tail end of it, we saw a power play assassin named Mike Hoffman be a part of it. No longer with the Blues. Who do you see stepping up in this lineup to add some of that scoring punch or keep some of that scoring punch for the St. Louis Blues?
Well, this is where the curiosity for me of two things happen. One, and not necessarily in this order, but a combination of it. One, you're going to see Justin Falk get more power play time. I would think you have to. Him or Colton Parayko. Both can absolutely bomb the puck. I think you end up seeing with them on the ice a much greater shooting mentality on the power play. And maybe it is a combination of Krug and Falk on the top power play unit. Go old school with two defensemen, one that can really pass and one that can really shoot, right? The other one for me, and we'll see how this plays out, is Pavel Buchnevich. Listen, that's a trade that really kind of, I know it was well spoken about. It's a trade that flies under the radar when you're talking about a 26-year-old, the quality of player that he is. And he doesn't need to have a breakout year. If he just has a solid continued growth year, a guy that has shown very good offensive ability but hasn't gotten much power play time with the New York Rangers, if he does get that kind of time this season with the St. Louis Blues, he could be a real spark. So, like you said, the Blues power play unit really started clicking without Vladimir last year, and I think they've got the pieces to keep that going this year, even without Mike Hoffman and Vince Dunn. So it may be a bit of a work in progress, but they still have the weapons.
He's Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues. And, Kerbs, I couldn't agree more. I think that the Blues are going to be just fine on the power play. My man, we thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully next time we talk, we got a little something more to talk about. Maybe Army give us some headlines by then. But appreciate your time as always, Kerbs, and have a great day, bud.
All right, have an awesome day, guys. Thanks for adjusting today. Have a great weekend.
No problem, Kerbs. Again, that was Chris Kerber, voice of your St. Louis Blues, here on your radio network for the Blues 101 ESPN. When we come back, we've got a returning gauntlet winner. It pains me to say that, but Jeff is returning in the gauntlet. We got a little surprise for Jeff today, though. We have a secret weapon that is available. That weapon's named Alex Ferrario.
He's been a secret weapon before,
I'm
Jamie.
1-0 on the gauntlet. 1-0 on the gauntlet.
He was my horse in something else that happened around here.
We
that didn't
like
work
to forget about that, Jamie.
all that well. But either way, we got Jeff coming back in the gauntlet. So join us here on 101 ESPN.
Prepare the gauntlet.
4 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger.
Spinning in the end zone. Touchdown into Big Mac. Land shoots. He scores!
BT's got this freaking...
Brought to you by the Home Loan Expert. Thinking about a refinance or pulling cash out of the credit card? Go to homeloanexpert.com. Can you survive the gauntlet?
All right, time check here, 4 o'clock, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, your official provider of Rolex jewelry. We've got a returning gauntlet contestant today, took down Meat and Random, and crushed Meat and Random.
Come on.
I mean, it wasn't even close. It was almost a perfect game.
I was listening to
Anyways,
that, Meat. That was tough.
I know. I'm
Jeff
embarrassed.
joining us again in the gauntlet. Jeff,
It
how
was
we doing today,
Maud.
bud?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
We're doing okay. Meat's
Whatever,
still
Jeff.
crying, but that's all right. He'll get over it. It happens at least once a week. No big deal. All right, Jeff.
The losses happen more than that.
That's a point. All right, Jeff. So what we have here is a little bit of a curveball for you because BT's down at Bally Sports Midwest. Anthony Stolter not in today, but we do have Alex Ferrario. and Alex Ferrario will be pinch hitting for BT. So if you want to do baseball, you get to take on Alex Ferrario, or you can go with hockey and pick myself today. Who are you going to take today, Jeff?
Well, from what I understand, your record's pretty stellar there, Mr. Rivers. So I'm going to go with the sub, Mr. Ferrario.
All right, Alex.
Jeff, you're on.
Trash
talk, I like it.
Into the cone of silence, Alex. Don't be afraid to replenish the snacks that are in there.
Snacks?
Meat pulverized them yesterday.
That's probably why I lost. I had my mind on...
Yeah, a little bit of the food coma going after.
My mind elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang it.
All right, so for those who don't know what happens here in the gauntlet, apart from Meat losing, we've got four...
man.
Sorry about
We're
that, Meat.
teammates.
Yes, it's true. All right, with four
Not good
questions.
ones.
If you don't need the options and you answer the question correctly, it's worth 2 points. If you do use the options and answer the question correctly, it's worth 1 point. And if you just don't answer it properly, well, that's always worth 0 points, and you lose. So, Jeff, without further ado, are you ready?
Let's do this.
By the way, this is a themed fight. It was a little late. It was supposed to be a week or so ago.
Okay.
Just keep that in mind.
Meat, don't make excuses,
I'm
okay?
not making excuses. How am I making an excuse?
I'm kind of sick of it right now.
Just
okay?
saying, so
Just
you
being
know.
honest.
These are all themed.
No excuses, all right, Schulte?
Wow.
All right, question 1.
Wow, I lose about as much.
That's wow, sideswipe. All right, Jeff, question 1. What famous player would the guys / ghosts not let play with them in the movie Field of Dreams?
Oh, man, I need the options on that one.
All right, was it Walter Johnson, Babe Ruth, or Ty Cobb?
Go Ty Cobb.
All right, Jeff, question number 2. In the movie The Field of Dreams, which is our theme today, if you haven't noticed, Ray and his wife both have a dream about Ray taking Terrence Mann to a game at what ballpark?
Oh, man. Options again.
All right, is it Fenway?
I don't like the theme.
Is it Wrigley? Or is it Yankee Stadium?
Man. I'm going to go Yankee Stadium.
All right, Jeff, question 3.
He's not going to like this one.
He's not going to like this one either, but maybe Alex doesn't either. So, question 3. In the Field of Dreams, where did Ray say he went to college? Hint, it's in California.
Let's go ahead and say UCLA.
All right, Jeff, last question here. Ray tells Annie his father used to tell him that Shoeless Joe Jackson's glove was where triples went to die. What was Shoeless Joe's primary position?
Oh, man. Triples went to die. So it's got to be an outfielder. So let's say center field.
All right.
How you feeling, Jeff?
Not great. Not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to grab Alex here out of the cone of silence, which hopefully he's replenished the snacks. I'm not sure.
I saw a fun fact about this whole situation and the recent game. We'll share that after this, Jamie.
Oh, what a teaser.
I replenished the snacks, boys, but then I just ate them, so sorry.
Damn it, Alex.
All right.
Sorry, boys.
We've got Alex back
Famous
in here.
Amos is in there?
Alex?
Yeah?
You better pack a lunch.
Was Jeff talking trash still?
No, Jeff does all the talking with his answers.
Did you tell him I'm 1-0 at the gauntlet?
No,
when
we
I
didn't
subbed?
inform him of that.
Kind of a big deal.
We could have just said Alex is undefeated.
Same thing.
I don't think Jeff is rattled by that, though.
Okay, sorry.
Not whatsoever.
All right, Alex. The theme here is around the movie Field of Dreams.
Son of a... Did you do this purposely?
Jeff did.
I said earlier this week on BK Ferrari that I don't like this movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you'd never seen it.
No, I've seen it. I just don't like it.
Well, Jeff didn't like it either, but too bad, guys. Here they come. Question 1.
Yeah. Not great.
Alex, what famous player would the guys / ghosts not let play with them in the Field of Dreams?
Not let
Who did
play
they
with
say,
them.
no, we don't want you?
Screw that guy.
Yeah.
A little aggressive.
Well, the ghosts are mean.
I think this is Ty Cobb. Or is it Babe Ruth? No, you don't let Babe Ruth not play with you. We'll go Ty Cobb.
Don't put baby in the corner.
Never put baby in the corner.
Nobody does.
Nobody.
Question number 2, Alex. In the Field of Dreams, Ray and his wife both have a dream about Ray taking Terrence Mann to a game at what baseball park?
They're in Iowa. Is it Wrigley Field since it's Midwest? Or are they going big picture here because Yankees?
You do have options. Remember that, by the way.
Yeah, give me the options.
Okay, you've got Fenway Park.
Okay.
Wrigley Field.
That's one my gut.
Or Yankee Stadium.
Oh, crap. Let's just go Yankee Stadium. I'm going to go Babe Ruth and hope that's tie in there. Don't remember that one.
All right, Alex, question 3.
Yeah.
In the movie Field of Dreams, where did Ray say he went to college? Hint, it's located in California.
Give me the options on this one, too.
Your options are UC Irvine, Cal Berkeley, or USC.
Let's go University of Irvine.
And last question, Alex. In the Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Our theme today.
Okay.
Ray tells Annie that his father used to tell him that Shoeless Joe Jackson's glove was where Triples went to die. What position was Shoeless Joe's primary position?
Come on, Jamie. Unnecessary. I believe this is the outfield. The problem is I don't remember, was it specific to a position or was it just the outfield position? Oh, man.
What position?
Give me that. That's the trick question. Give me the options.
Why does everybody always think we're trying to trick them? Is it
you're
left field, right field, or center field?
Come on.
You kind of were right.
Well, can I just say outfield and give it to me?
No.
I'll go center field. Your triple, center field.
All right, let's go over this. All right, let's start with the very last question. Ray
Good sign
tells
or a bad sign?
Ray tells Annie his father used to tell him that Shoeless Joe Jackson's glove was where Triples went to die. What was Shoeless Joe's primary position? Jeff, without the options, you said center field. Alex, with the options.
All right, I like the sign of this.
You said center field. The answer is
left field.
Left field. All right.
Would have got it if you would have allowed outfield.
Nothing. Let's go question 3. In the movie Field of Dreams, where did Ray say he went to college? Again, the hint was that it was located in California. Jeff, no options, went UCLA. Alex, with the options, went UC Irvine. Meet, the answer is
Cal Berkeley.
Yeah. This is embarrassing, but hey, I said it up front. I don't like the Field of Dreams.
Meet, can we get a score update, please?
Let me check. 0-0, Jamie.
Okay, good. All right, that's what I have too.
Great.
Okay, question 2. As we work our way back up the ladder here. In the movie Field of Dreams, Ray and his wife both have a dream about Ray taking Terrence Mann to a game at what ballpark? Both of you used the options. Now on this one, Jeff, with the options, said Yankee Stadium.
Oh.
Alex, with the options, said
Right, Jeff.
Yankee Stadium.
We're on the same wavelength here.
Meet, where did they actually say they were going to take Terrence Mann to a ball game?
Gotta be Yankee
The big green monster at Fenway Park.
Fenway Park.
I really wish I would have watched. I wish I would have liked this movie.
This is run prevention at its finest right now.
This is a pitching duel.
Yes, it is. Okay, so
Ace versus ace.
last question. Last question.
That was unnecessary.
What famous player would the guys / ghosts not let play with them in the Field of Dreams?
Please don't be Babe Ruth. Please don't be Babe Ruth.
With the options, Jeff went Ty Cobb. Without the options,
Tiebreaker.
Alex went Ty Cobb. Jeff?
You have chosen poorly.
Oh, Alex got you, Jeff. He got you. You guys came right down to the wire, and he got you there. You got Ty Cobb without the options. Alex hates the movie, apparently, but he remembered one thing about it, and that was that Ty Cobb was not allowed to play with the guys.
He can stick it. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it that much.
Yeah,
Hate's a strong word. Sorry, Jeff.
That's America.
Jeff,
No, it's been so long since I saw that movie, about 20 years or so. So I knew I was dead in the water when you said it was a theme about Field of Dreams. So
you know what? We'll just blame Meat.
Game.
We'll just blame Meat for that one again. All right, but you already beat him, so you know what? You've embarrassed him enough for a little while, right, Jeff?
Jamie, come on.
Yeah, let's focus on yesterday's performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Still a winner in my book, Jeff.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Had fun.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening, man. All right, so Jeff will not be back. Alex Ferrario in a pinch hit role has done a fine job. He's 2-0 right now in the gauntlet. He stays hot.
Text line doesn't agree that was a fine job. We've lost a lot of respect for a lot of people, apparently, Jamie.
Yeah.
Was it a win?
It was a win.
all that matters.
Look, if this was bench warmers trivia, probably would have aced it.
Maybe not. Not sure. One thing I know that I do want to talk about again is revisiting Yadier Molina and the fact that he might be signing a contract extension before the end of the season. Fingers crossed. Also, we put it out there earlier in the show. We said, hey, you know what? This was supposed to be a statement series for your St. Louis Cardinals. Hasn't gone very well the first couple of games. So what's your statement right now? Mic drop. Or on the Rhino Shield mic drop app, on the 101 ESPN app. Leave us a mic drop. What's your statement right now about the current Cardinals situation and what has happened this series and what could happen in the future? Leave a mic drop for us. We'll get to that in a little bit. But when we come back, again, we're going to revisit the Yadier Molina discussion. And we have a couple things to talk about, too, that they have nothing to do with his defense. Find out what that is here on 101 ESPN. From The Athletic, the Cardinals are in discussions with Yadier Molina regarding a one-year contract extension. Welcome back to the Fast Lane. I'm Jamie Rivers, joined by Alex Ferrario, who's pinch hitting today for BT, who's down at Bally Sports Midwest, going to be bringing you the Cardinals coverage. Anthony Stalter's got next couple of days off. Brad Barnes spinning the dials here. Meat. Anyways, back to the discussion at hand here. Yadier Molina, who had an interesting offseason to where, honestly, guys, it was weird. It was a roller coaster type offseason to where we thought, okay, this is a done deal. He's going to sign again with the Cardinals. There's no way he's going to play anywhere else. Him and Adam Wainwright are both going to be Cardinals. Then all of a sudden it was Waino had signed and Yadi hadn't. And there were rumors of Yadi being a Chicago White Sox. Heck, we had Benji Molina on, and he kind of giggled and kind of, nudge, nudge, wink, wink at Uncle Tony, who may or may not have reached out to Yadi. It ended up being a weird offseason when it comes to Yadier Molina. Thankfully, they got a deal done. Yadier Molina back behind the plate this season for the St. Louis Cardinals, and it looks like he could be again for next season. So, Alex, initial thoughts regarding 39-year-old Yadier Molina and the fact that if he signed a $9 million contract, which is exactly what he has right now, I don't know about incentives and bonuses and that. All I know is right around the $9 million mark. So let's say $9 to $10 million contract for Yadier Molina. Are you in or are you out on that?
I'm in on this one, Jamie. I think it's the smart thing to do with Yadier Molina because, one, you've invested in this for the last few years once you traded Carson Kelly away, and you've said that Yadi's the guy, we want him to retire here, and if he's got one more year, he's got one more year. And he was outspoken, it was a couple of months ago when he talked about what he went through last year and said, I'm not going to do that again. And so it makes sense that the Cardinals are trying to get it done. And look, if they have World Series aspirations for 2022, Yadi's your best bet to get there because Yadi knows this pitching staff, regardless of the